Hi everyone, this is Lucy and this is my friend Geraldine. She is a business expert at SEO, and today we are going to be talking about work and relationships. And I know Geraldine had a past experience about working with her ex-partner. And so Geraldine, tell us what will be the main advice you would give our listeners about working and at the same time keeping the relationship you had?
I think one of the most important things is to develop communication with one another, because as business owners, you're always going to be going through new struggles, and as business partners, you have to go through it together. So figuring out ways to communicate when you're frustrated or you're going through things is really the only way to be able to maintain the relationship at the same time.
But the big piece also is when the emotions comes to that communication. So from your experience, how did you separate the emotions from communicating very clearly with your partner at work?
I think one of my biggest pitfalls was that I would withhold information or just kind of, I'd try and center myself, and I wouldn't really communicate what I was really feeling.
Okay.
So that was a big pitfall, and I think the way, now that I've learned a lot being in different relationships and just developed myself as a person, I think finding a way to have an outlet outside of your business life, so that way you can come back to whatever you're dealing with in the business and have a really clearer mind. Because if you're holding on to everything, it's really going to not be beneficial in the long run for the relationship and the business.
Right, right. So you also touch a little bit about, separating yourself from the business. So we were talking before this video that maybe is it a good idea to have free time outside of the business? Having something together that you can do together and focusing on just you two.
Yeah, absolutely. Because one thing is, as an entrepreneur, I mean, I'm sure a lot of you entrepreneurs relate to this too. You're working all the time. You're always thinking about your business, what you can do better, the struggles you're going through. And when you're in a relationship with the person that you work with, you have to have a way to have free time as a couple, separate from business. And when you're always talking about business in your free time, and you're driving to the movies and talking about the problems, like there's no separation. Like how are you ever going to be able to develop your relationship outside of your business? I mean, you've worked with a few clients that are in this situation, right? I'm curious to know, how do they deal with it?
Yes, absolutely. Having the separate time from the business and focusing on just you two is a big piece of being in a work relationship and romantic relationship. If you want to have the relationship going, you need to find something really that you love to do and focus on it. It could be anything: cooking class, jogging,
Walk in the park.
working in a park.
Yeah, anything, or try something new.
Exactly. I actually took last night a painting class and it was really fun. So strongly suggest. So yeah, definitely find some time together and just enjoy each other. Discover, almost like get to know each other again, discover each other, be curious about each other. And bring the relationship and the level that it actually feels like a relationship, and don't bring any problems into that free time. Just make clear cut that this is just the time for you two, and have a good time together.
And a really great point about this is you can also use this as an opportunity to celebrate your wins together. Because as business owners, sometimes we get so focused and we forget that we have to celebrate the small things. So why not have a date night or have a day together because you're working so hard?
That's right. That's right. So I'm gonna switch a little bit back to work. What do you think are the best work ethics when you are working with a partner?
Well, the first thing is to get clear about how both of you like to work. So in my previous relationship, we loved each other and we started this business, And we never really talked anything about how do you like to work? How do I work? Let's look at this. What are our strengths and weaknesses? And I think that really worked against us because we were just going on and seeing each other's downfalls or weaknesses, and we had no time to figure out how to support each other in that. We were just judging each other or just not even being able to focus on that at all, just focusing on the business. So that in itself made it a struggle. It caused a lot of resentment. It caused a lot of friction with our team and also between us and our relationship. So just being able to have a conversation, let's look at this. We know that we're not perfect, but how can we support each other and how do we complement each other and how are we going to make this business work? Because a business partnership is all about collaboration. And if you can't collaborate together, even talk about that, then you have a lot of problems.
That's very true. So we are a little bit going back to the communication and setting up very clearly ethics that works in your work relationship and romantic relationship. And it's very important to know that you both are on the same boat and you communicate those values and goals, everything, before you start working together.
Absolutely.
And what do you think about big topic as money? I know as a business, once the money start, their money in a business, there also money in a relationship. So from your point of view, what do you think the money is, how it should be communicated in a relationship?
That's so huge. Even in our personal lives, right? Who doesn't have things about money, whether you're successful or whether you're doing okay. There's all these things about money, and when we all grow up, we had different beliefs about money that were instilled in us, and I think it's something we consistently have to work on. So coming from a very mature perspective, if you're looking to get into business with someone, it's important to ask the person, how do you feel about money? That's even before you go into who's going to handle the money and all that, how do you feel about money? Because if there are things that are there for the both of you, which likely there will be, you've got to figure out a way to work through that because it will have a direct impact on the relationship. So I'm curious to ask you, I know you work with a lot of clients and couples, how do you coach them on talking to each other about money in general?
Right. So again, open communication, number one. We are gonna probably...
We have a theme.
So, be very clear and set up, there's a lot of tools you can use as set up budgets. Be very open about finances and, maybe find somebody who can help, maybe third person who can, bring a little bit of light into your finances and help you out, because I know it's a very sensitive topic. And again, it brings a lot of emotions and a lot of pain when money are, when the talks about money start. So, I would say sometimes it's important to bring somebody else and maybe have a help, or be very strong and communicate very clearly about what the limits are, what the budget is, what the spendings are. And same thing for business, expenses and everything. You have to work as a team. It needs to, become one of the things that you united over, not to fight and something that will pull you apart.
I think in general, having an accountant or a bookkeeper, some sort of financial professional working with the both of you in any business, whether you're in a romantic partnership or not, is really important.
Right.
Because as you're growing your business or as you're going through cash flow struggles, it's really difficult at the end of the day to look at your QuickBooks statement or your bank statement and see that you don't have as much as you would like. So I really like your point about bringing someone in. That's super important because it'll take so much stress away.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. And I also believe, because I do work with my clients, that not only money, but also, keep the passion alive. It's in the relationship. It starts with the free time and having time for each other, but bring the passion into relationship. Don't stop the touching, the intimacy, just keep it alive, because that will bring a big toll on the relationship if this is not alive. So thank you so much. This was wonderful. We had a few tips about works and relationships, and if you have a comments or you want to connect with us, there's a link below. And until next time, see ya.
Bye.
Bye.